meet you, man.
Hi, my name's Leo. And
oh, no, I see shit. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of shit.
He's not blind. He can see.
Until you start pulling. So, Ognis' Dragon Slash has haste, and whenever a creature I control with haste attacks, I can create a tapped treasure token. So, it's going to be all haste all of the time. To make sure that everything that I control has haste, I have a bunch of anthems. Rising in the Day, creatures I control have haste, and legendary creatures get +1/+0. I have Hammer of Perforos, gives everything haste, second effect doesn't matter. Rhythm of the Wild, creatures can't be countered, and then have Riot, which either have haste or 1/1 counter on it. I do have creatures that have haste, so I can put the 1/1 counter on those, so I don't have to get double haste. Samut, creatures I control have haste, this doesn't matter. Urbrass the Hidden, everything I control has haste. Xenagos, God of the Revels, target creature I control gets haste until end of turn, but every single turn I can choose what gets haste. Now, for the payoffs for the treasures, I have Reckless Fireweaver for when the artifacts come in. I have Ancient of the Iron Throne and Marionette Master for when the treasures leave, and with all of the pump effects that I have, this 1/3 with Fabricate 3 to 4 damage for every treasure, I have gotten it to 10, 11, not infinite, but imagine somebody sacrificing a treasure and every single time you get 10 damage. Glorious. And then Mirkwood Bats for when the tokens come in or they leave, which is going to be great. And then, of course, I'm playing green, so Ramp Package, Nature's Lore, 3 Visits, Farseek, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Conduit of Worlds. Yes, in the lands, I do have Channel lands, I do have Fixing lands, so playing lands from my graveyard. Also, if I run out of cards in my hand, I can use my graveyard as an additional resource, which is amazing. Now, on to the creatures that have haste. I have Rabbit Battery, and it has Reconfigure, so I can turn it into an equipment to give something that I have +1/+1 in haste. Atlantean Jackal. Silent. Absolutely silent. Winning aspect of this deck. It has Trample, Haste, and Ramps. So it's going to trample over, it's going to ramp with a basic land, and with Ognis, it's going to ramp me even further by creating the treasure token. Jaxus the Troublemaker with the Blitz, it's going to have the it's gonna have haste, and everything will be fine. Froghemoth, I get to start eating opponent's graveyard and put +1/+1 counters on it. With Trample and with haste, this thing gets to big and ridiculous numbers of power and toughness. This right here is the problem.
Miners see better days.
Hellkite Charger. Pay 7, get another attack phase, which means I get more treasures, and it does have haste. So it creates a treasure, I pay 5 red, and get another attack step. Glorious. Inferno Star Mounts. Pay 1 red, it gets +1/+0. If it gets to 20, I can deal 20 damage to any target. With the amount of treasures that I make and big mana that I have, I can get this to 20 very quickly and very easily. Blitz Automaton. With the prototype, it still has haste. So early game, if I need something that has haste, I can bring it out later on if I need something big and chunky, because it is a 6/4 when you pay 7 for it. When it's big and chunky, I'm still going to gain those treasures, whether I use it for the prototype or for its full cost. Clouth the Unrivaled Ancient, I get to add mana of any colors and any combinations of my choosing, where X is the number of attacking creatures, so big mana all the time, everywhere. And then Balrog came out in the Lord of the Rings set. The discount is for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Treasures get sacrificed, foods get sacrificed, clues get sacrificed for their activated abilities. This also has haste, and when it can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, which 80% of the time is their commander, and when it dies, I get to destroy an artifact or a creature of my choosing. I get to choose what it is, which is absolutely amazing. Now, the utility creatures that don't have haste on them, but are still good, Kalane, the Reclusive Painter from the D&D set, if you use a treasure to bring a creature out, it gets +1/+1 for each treasure spent to cast them. So that Marionette Master with the Fabricate, it costs 6 mana. With the one that it has, with the Fabricate 3, and with the 6 mana it costs for this, it becomes a 10 power creature, and that's how you can get the 1 treasure to sacrifice for 10 damage. Super easy and cake. Chatterfang, since all of the treasures are tokens, Chatterfang to create even more tokens to create a bigger and wider threat. Since I'm making treasure tokens primarily, I'm making sure that Academy Manufactor comes out onto the field as fast as I possibly can. It doesn't have haste, but it creates a clue, a food, and a treasure. So, Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Mishra Claim by Gix. I have this just in case if I can get it to meld, so that doesn't really matter. This, the Mishra Claim by Gix. Each opponent loses X life and gain X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures, which has won me games by just going wide with the little weenie tokens that I can make, and it just go in for damage. I keep making treasures because of the Anthem effects, and slowly drain out everybody. This doesn't even have to hit. This is on attack, which is amazing. Fathom Fleet Swordjack, when this deals damage to something, to someone or a planeswalker, I should say, it deals damage equal to the number of artifacts that I control. So, not a lot of people read this part, but when it does damage, so it's going to count after the declare attacker step, which I'm going to be making the treasures from Ognis. So it's going to be increasingly more and more and more damage. Zayatori the Incinerator, sacrifice a creature, deals damage, and then create treasure tokens. And with the cycling in the graveyard that I have, it's going to be a wonderful time. Now, utility creatures are going to be next up. I've got Dormant Grove. If I get to something that has 6 toughness, it flips around and gives, as an Anthem, it becomes a 3/6, and as an Anthem, gives everything that I control vigilance. Since I'm turning sideways every single turn without fail, having vigilance to be able to defend myself, great time. Orin Frostfang, give all of my creatures, all of my attacking creatures, Death Touch. Thunderfoot Balog, give everything +2/+2 and trample as an Anthem effect. Blast Furnace Hellkite, give all creatures attacking my opponents double strike. And quick note with this, if anybody is attacking my opponents, they gain double strike. So if player B wants to attack player C, they gain double strike. If player B wants to attack me, they do not. So this works on everybody. Karlach Fury of Avernus, give everything first strike, and I get an additional combat step. Next up, yes, I am playing black, so I have Demonic Tutor, and I have a Grim Tutor to search out the primary win cons of the deck. Magda the Brazen Outlaw. Sacrifice 5 treasures. I can search for an artifact or dragon and put it onto the battlefield. I can sacrifice the treasures that are tapped from a combat step for this effect, so I can turn 5 tapped treasures into any of the artifacts that I have, and or any dragon card that I have. So I can utilize the treasures immediately instead of having to wait for a turn. And then on the other end, Jolene the Plunder Queen. The rest of this doesn't really matter. Sacrifice 5 treasures, put 5/1/1 counters on Jolene, and it's not once per turn. So if I attack with 10 creatures and I have 10 tap treasure tokens, this in turn becomes a 12/12. And so on ad infinitum. Since I'm going sideways, since I'm turning all of my creatures sideways all the time, sometimes I need to defend myself. Tangle. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, and attacking creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. You attack me, I'm going to make you pay for it. Since you're going to be tapped out, I'm going to hit you not once, but twice. Just to make sure that you learn your lesson. Jaheira's Respite. You hit me, I get basics. And I prevent the damage. Wonderful time. Next up is going to be spot removal. I have Terminate, destroy a creature, Hull Breach, destroy artifact and or enchantment, Crossing Grit, destroy artifact and or enchantment, Chaos Warp for anything, Shadow of the Enemy. Normally I use this to target Graveyard Center decks to exile all the creature cards and then start using their own creature cards against them just for the lull of it and for spite. Insurrection. Gain control of all creatures until untap. Gain control of all creatures until end of turn. And they gain haste until end of turn. So I'm going to take all of your stuff, gain a whole lot of value, and if you don't die, you're going to be put so far behind, it's going to be ridiculous. Then of course I've got Klaus Will. Since I'm going to be having my commander up most of the time, it's going to deal, and it is an X spell, I get to deal X damage to each creature without flying, and then destroy X artifact or enchantments. So Artifactocrats, Enchantress, doesn't matter. I have solutions to the problem. Torment of Hailfire, win condition in black, and since I'm going big mana anyway, I can make a Torment of Hailfire come in for about 15 to 40. This doesn't make infinite mana, it just makes a lot of mana. And then some utility artifacts. Amulet of Vigor. If a permanent enters the battlefield tapped under my control, I can untap it. So those tapped treasure tokens come in untapped, and I can use them immediately. Dolem Gate. Since I'm going sideways, since I'm turning all of my creatures sideways all of the time, I get to prevent all the combat damage that was dealt to all of my attacking creatures, so that I can keep building an army and keep making sure that everything goes sideways. Life Catcher's Bestiary. Since I have a whole lot of creatures, I can pay a green and draw a card whenever I cast a creature spell. Since I'm going to have a whole lot of creatures, it's going to be a wonderful time. Lightning Greaves to protect the commander. Eldrazi Monument. I don't like Craterhoof. I don't play Craterhoof Behemoth. This is my version of Craterhoof. Creatures I control get +1/+1, have flying, and are indestructible. So get a little bit of evasion, get a little bit of a boost, but most importantly, get the indestructible bit. It's going to be a wonderful time. Bolas of Citadel, artifact I can find to generate more haste and making sure that I can keep the tempo up with a lot of these other decks. Deadly Dispute, drawing cards, create a treasure. Return of the Wild Speaker. So since I have a whole bunch of pumps in the deck, I can draw more and more and more and more and more cards. And then when in doubt, if you can't get through your opponent, just throw your creature at him and see what happens. The entire reason I have Minskin Boot. I've got 7 of each basic land type, and since I'm in Junt, it's great. Of the utility lands that I want to talk about, Sokanzon Crucible of Defiance. It is one of the channel lands from Kamigawa, and you create 2 1/1 colorless spirits with haste. So you can channel this away and then I can get it back with Crucible Worlds, and I can create 2 treasure tokens, but just by channeling 1 land away. And then of course I've got the basics since I'm in Jund, Zayator's Proving Ground, Command Tower, Undergrowth Stadium, Luxury Suite, Rockfall Vale, Cinderglade, Smoldering Marsh, Bonder's Enclave. Since I'm going to have a lot of creatures with 4 power or above and a lot of mana and not a lot of card draw, I can spend some of my mana and draw. I can spend some of my mana and draw a card from it. Bloodstained Mire, so I could search out anything I need. Riveteur's Outlook, find a basic. Evolving Wilds, find basics. And Terramorphic Expanse, find basic. And that is Ognis the Dragon Slash.